Today we're going to talk about translating expressions. Translating expressions is just like when you're in a foreign language and you're translating that language into English or you're translating English into that language. All I'm doing today is I'm going to be translating English sentences into math words. So if there's part of this notes packet that you have already completed, you're welcome to fast forward. But if this is the first time you're filling out this notes packet, this is where you want to start. So I'm going to highlight my title, and I'm also going to highlight these two vocabulary words. So the first question is, what is a variable? We've talked about what it means to be a variable a lot. A variable is a number or symbol that represents an unknown number. So I can use the letter X, I can use a symbol, I can use a smiley face, I can use anything to represent that unknown number. So in math, a lot of times we talk about what it means to be an algebraic expression. An algebraic expression is a math sentence that uses numbers, variables, and operations. And in math, an operation would be one of these main symbols. Okay? So addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division, those are the main operations. We can use other operations, but those are the main famous ones. An expression is different than an equation because an expression does not have an equal sign. So because we have an expression, we're not dealing with equaling anything. And an algebraic expression could look something like this, like 2x plus 3, which we've seen plenty of times, and then notice it does not have an equal sign. So today I have a goal, and I'm going to highlight my goal here because this is the big one. My goal is to translate English words to math, or translating English words into an algebraic expression. So I'm translating it into math. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on today. So you have a colored piece of paper, which hopefully is on your desk, and that colored piece of paper has all of my clue words on it. But we have two important turnaround words. Turnaround words cause the order of my sentence to flip. So my two turnaround words are the word than and the word from. If I have the word than or I have the word from, it turns the order of my sentence. The numbers on the front go to the back. So I'm going to use my clue words, which are on that colored piece of paper that I've given you, and I'm going to utilize my turnaround words to see if I can translate. When I'm doing these types of problems, my brain goes really fast, so I unfortunately make mistakes. So when I'm doing this, I always focus on my clue words and my turnaround words, and I underline them so I don't have to keep going back and rereading the question. So number one says 7 more than a number n. So I just know my number, I'm using the letter n. It gave me, it assigned the letter to use. So I see the word than, that's a turnaround word. So I always circle my turnaround words because that tells me 7 goes to the end. I also see the word more. More represents what operation? It represents addition. So 7 more than a number n. N is my number, so it's just going to be n plus 7. If I look at number 2, it says the difference of the number k and 7. So notice my number is just going to be k, and I don't have any turnaround words. I don't have the word than or from, but I do have the word difference. Difference means subtract. So because I have no turnaround words, k come first, 7 came second, it's just k minus 7. And if I look at number 3, it says the quotient of a number x and 2, that number is just x. And I have no turnaround words, but the word quotient is most missed. That means divide. So that's just going to be x divided by 2. And if I wanted to be a good mathematician, I'm going to rewrite this as x over 2. Both of these answers are correct, but this one is the more mathematical answer, and that's the one we prefer. Let's look at number 1 on the practice section. It says 3 times a number increased by 3. So I have no turnaround words. I see the word times, I know it means multiply. I see the word increased, I know it means plus. So 3 times a number n increased by 3. And again, the better way to write that would just be 3n plus 3. I don't need to write this dot there because it's redundant, unnecessary. If I look at number 2, it says 8 less than 3. Oh, this word 4 is not supposed to be here. It's supposed to be the word times. Sorry about that typo. 8 less than 3 times a number x. So I see the word than, so I know 8's going to go to the caboose. I see the word less, so I know that means minus. So I know it says 3 times a number x, so I know that's just 3x or 3 dot x. And then it's 8 less than that. So since less than 8 goes to the end, and then less means minus. So I want you to pause this video and I want you to try number 3 on your own. So if you look at number 3, hopefully you see the word twice, that means 2 times. And you see the word increased, and that means plus. So that would just be 2 times z plus 1, which I can rewrite to say 2z plus 1. Okay? So let's go ahead and flip our paper and look on the back. So what happens if we don't know what variable is used to represent a number? Notice if I look at the example, 3 more than 4 times a number. It didn't tell me what letter to use. So if it doesn't tell you what letter to use, you get to pick one. You can pick one. Any letter you want to use, you can use. So 3 more than 4 times a number. I see the word than, so I know it's a turnaround word. 3 goes all the way to the back. I see the word more. More means add. I see the word times, that means multiply. And then any number I want to use. So I'm going to use the letter A. So 3 more than 4 times a number. So I know 4 times a number would just be 4A because I picked A, but you can use any letter you want. And I know 3 comes all the way to the back. And the word more is next to 3, so it becomes plus. If I look at number 2, number 2 says 2 times a number plus 5. So 2 times a number plus 5. So I see the word times, that means multiply. I'm going to pick any number, any letter I want. So now I'm going to use D. I see the word plus, plus hopefully you know it means plus. I have no turnaround words, so I'm going to do 2D, because that's 2 times D, plus 5. I go ahead and I do number 3. Number 3 says 7 less than 3 times a number. So I see a turnaround word than, so that means 7 goes all the way to the back. I see the word less, that means minus. I see the word times, that means times. And I'm going to define my number. Let's pick C. So go with what you know. 3 times a number is 3C. 7 gets moved to the back, and less than is next to it, which means minus. I want you to pause this video, and I want you to try 4 and 5 on your own, and then I want you to unpause the video, and I'll go over it. Number 4 is 12 minus 5 times a number squared. So I know minus means minus. I know times means times. Squared is that teensy tiny 2 in the corner of my number. So I have no turnaround words, so I just write it as 12 minus 5 times a number squared. Number 5 is the product of a number and 2 increased by 4. Product means multiply, increase means add. So the product of a number and 2, so the product of a number and 2, so that's going to be 2y increased by 4. If you're feeling okay with this, I want you to go ahead and do 6, 7, 8, and 9 on your own. Pause this video and try, and then unpause this video and I'll go over it. So number 6 says 3 times a number increased by 2 times a different number minus 5. So I have a number, x, times means times, increased is plus, by 2 times a different number, so I can't use x, I got to use a different number, minus 5. So now I'm just going to translate it. 3 times the number x increased by 2 times a different number y minus 5. 7 would be 7 subtracted from a number cubed. So this word from is a turnaround word. Subtracted is minus. So my number is x cubed minus 7. 8 is the quotient of 3 times a number and 2. So quotient means divide, but I'm taking 3 times a number and 2, and I'm dividing it. Or I can write my answer as twice a number decreased by 9. So twice is 2 times. Decreased means minus. So 2a minus 9. So now we have trickier problems. The trickier problems is when you use parentheses. We have 2 instances when I'm going to use parentheses. The first time is when it says the quantity of. Whenever it says the words the quantity of, there's going to be parentheses. The other time is when you're timesing or multiplying an operation. So if I'm multiplying the sum or I'm multiplying the difference, that's when I'm going to use parentheses. So if I look at this first example, it says 2 times the sum of a number and 1. So see how I'm times, and then I see sum, and I have a number and 1. So if I did 2 times a number and 1, this means I'm only multiplying 2 to x. Because I'm multiplying the sum, I need to put it in parentheses. If I look at number 5, it says 5 times the quantity of a number and 4. So I see the word quantity of, I know it's parentheses. Be careful, you see the word quantity and you think it means quotient, but quotient and quantity mean very different things. So it's 5 times the quantity, so parentheses. I can put a dot here if I want to, but it's redundant. Remember, if a number is squished next to a parentheses, it just means multiply, of a number and 4. And that and we're going to assume is plus because it doesn't give us any other information. I want you to pause this video and I want you to try 3 and 4 on your own. And when you unpause the video, the answer will be on the screen. So hopefully you see the answers. And if you have any questions, make sure you come and you talk to me. Go ahead and let's flip your paper. Translating math to English is a lot easier because there's multiple different answers you can have. So n minus 9, I can write that a bunch of ways. I can say a number minus 9. I can say 9 subtracted from a number. I can say 9 less than a number n. I can have a whole bunch of different reasons. I want you to translate these 4 sentences into English sentences. And then we'll talk about it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go past. If you have other questions on those, make sure you come and you talk to me. We have already talked about what it means to evaluate an expression. Evaluating an expression just means I'm plugging in and following PEMDAS. So evaluating means to figure out. All I'm doing is I'm going to try to figure out the problem, figure out the answer. And how I do that is I'm going to plug numbers in for variables. So if I take a look and it says 7 less than a number, I'm going to translate that sentence first. So I see the word than, 7 comes to the end. and number, we'll just use x minus 7. And then it says the value of that number is 5. So now I'm just going to plug 5 in for x. 5 minus 7 is negative 2. So now it says 2 times the number increased by 3. So 2 times the number increased by 3. So I'm going to say 2x plus 3. And evaluate if the number is negative 2. So I'm going to do 2 times negative 2 plus 3. Notice when I plugged negative 2 in for x, I used parentheses because that 2 is attached to it. So 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. I'm following PEMDAS. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. So you're going to pause this video and you're going to go ahead and try example 3 and 4, and then you're going to check your answer on the board. So hopefully these are the answers that you got. If you did not get these answers, make sure you come and talk to me. I keep going very quickly. These examples down here we're going to disregard. So we've already practiced plenty of those problems. You're welcome to use those as practice problems, but we don't need to do it. And then if you go to the next page, again, those 3 problems here we're going to skip. And we're going to talk about this very quickly. So an equation, if I highlight where it says what is an equation is an expression with an equal sign. An inequality is an expression with less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to signs. That's what's called an inequality. So on your colored paper, you need to write down all of the words that represent one of those symbols. So if I just come over here and I draw them because I don't have them written here, you only have these symbols. The big one for an equal sign is. Less than would be at most, no greater than, no more than. The greater than or equal to symbol would be at least, no less than, and no less than. Leave it like that. Notice these words are the opposite of what their symbol means. This symbol means less than. This symbol means greater than. So it's kind of confusing because these symbols, their English words, are actually the opposite of what it's supposed to be. So if I come back over here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look for one of those words. It says 2 increased by 3 times a number is 9. I see the word is. I know that means equals, and there's like a wall there. So I'm going to translate everything to the left of the wall, and I'm going to translate everything to the right of the wall. So it says 2 increased by 3 times a number. So 2 increased by 3 times a number is 9. So I'm going to write that so it looks like it's prettier. Oops, I'm totally writing it wrong. Let me erase it. 2 plus 3x equals 9. That would be my answer. Now if we look at this one, 7 less than 4 times a number is 12. I see the word is. I know that means equals. That's a wall. So I know my right side just has 12. I see the word than. I know that's a turnaround word. That 7 hits the wall and then falls down in front of it. And then 4 times a number, and less means minus. If I do number 3, it says 2 times the difference of a number is at most. So that's less than or equal to 16. And again, I'm treating it like a wall. 2 times the difference of a number and 1. So 2 times the difference of a number and 1. I saw the word difference, I knew it meant subtract. But notice, this is 2 times a number to minus 1. I want 2 times the difference, I got to use parentheses. So if I go ahead, I want you to pause, and I want you to try to 4, 5, and 6 on your own. When you finish, unpause, and I'll either go over it or I'll have the answers and you can just check. Number 4 says the quotient of 6 times a number in 2 is at least 8. So it's always the opposite, so greater than or equal to. The quotient of 6 times a number and 2. So I see the word 6 times a number, and I see the word 2, and then I have to put the word quotient in between. So I can write it like this, or I can write it like this. Jake is 12 years older than John. So I'm going to give Jake the letter A. Is an equal sign. 12 years older than John. I see the word than, so 12 goes to the end. John, I'm going to use J. And then older means add, right? Because you're getting older, you're increasing 12. Number 6, the total cost is 12 times the number of books sold. So 12 times the number of books sold. So 12 times the number of books sold. And then the total cost. So I can just say T equals 12.